I make a lot of errors, and therefore, disclaimer, this is not a memorandum channel. Hello, mathematical literacy learners. Welcome to question 2. We are doing question 2 from Mpumalanga. Our third question 2. So guys, if you see paint on my hands, I am trying to wash it, but I'm also still painting. I'm waiting for the paint to dry, so we're just going to keep it moving. So Magdalene operates a small car wash business at her home. An extract of Magdalene's house water bill for December 2022 is given below. So the extract for the amount of kilo of water in kiloliters used is given as, okay, the measurement, there it is. And this is to December 2022, very important. Previous reading, current reading. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. When the municipality, not you, when the municipality or you working for the municipality install a water meter reading, what the water meter does is measure right from the beginning 1, 2, 3 kiloliters, 4 kiloliters, and it just keeps counting. It does not know how to count for 1 month or how to measure for 1 month. So what you do is you go on the month end, you read the first reading, and then when this current month ends, you read the reading, and then it'll tell you from the 1st to the 31st how much the water you used is, right? Tricky. Okay, so in order to find that, you have to calculate the difference of these two. Then you'll know how much Magdalene is using. Oh, I forgot I said I was going to still photocopy these, so I need to write in pencil. So we're just going to do a difference. So whenever you get something like this, sometimes it'll be written on an invoice and they're going to say current reading, previous reading, and they're not going to tell you how much water the person used. Then you're going to have to, sometimes they'll give you everything, including the amount of water for 1 month. So here we have 53,657 minus, I'm doing it opposite. I should start with the largest, current 898, but it's 332. Okay, so we have 332 kiloliters. So that's the amount of water that this person used. And now we're happy, we can move on. Now, as much as they didn't ask the question here to calculate for this person, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you're supposed to do when you get this. Okay, here on the sliding scale, there's something missing here. When you're going to calculate for Magdalene, you need an extra column where you say the maximum water calculated for this amount is 50 kiloliters. That doesn't bother us. The second here, you take this 150, you minus the 50 from above right here. You see how I did that? 150 minus that 50, not this number here, but that number over there. And then the maximum becomes 100. I always say if your table is clean, then I'm worried that you didn't do the right thing. 300 minus that 150, you got 150. 500 minus 300, that's 200. 1000 minus 500, then that's 500. Then there's no maximum here. So when you calculate, if Magdalene, for example, is going to pay for 50 kiloliters here, and then 100 kiloliters here, and then whatever's left is going to be here also and here, depending on how you separate the water. If you separate the water correctly, it should be 3 or 4 spaces, right? But that question is not asked on this particular question. So here, Magdalene says, determine the number of kiloliters of water Magdalene used in December 2022. They just want to know Magdalene's water, right? Nothing else. They just, hey, what are the kiloliters for Magdalene? Since we went and did a reading, and then a month later we went and did a reading. Oh, it's the difference between we are getting close to the finals. I'm going to insist on writing the answers so that we practice to write the answers the way they are needed. Number of kiloliters for Magdalene will equal to 53989 kiloliters minus 53657 kiloliters, and then we'll have 332 kiloliters. Just check, I didn't recalculate it, so check if it's correct before you move on. Okay, so the tariffs are due to increase by 14.516% in January 2023. Calculate the amount without VAT rounded to 2 decimal for the consumption between 301 to 500 in January. Okay, let's start here. Where is this? This is this plot here This is this part here. So they want to know what is the amount of consumption rand there. And they said here, this is including VAT. Very important to know whether your amounts include or exclude VAT, right? So they said it's including VAT. And the amount of consumption right now in December 2022 is 4,52751 rands, right? So in December, for December, it is 2022. The amount of consumption is 4,527 rands. This is including VAT, right? So the question says, for January, there's going to be an increase, right? From December to January, there'll be an increase. And also, they want the amount due without VAT. So the first thing we're going to do is, because this amount is including 15% VAT, we're going to exclude the VAT, right? We don't want to increase on VAT, because VAT is still going to be added once they decide to include VAT. So let's first remove the VAT from this amount. How do you remove VAT? You ask yourself how it was added. They multiplied by 115%, and therefore now we are going to do the opposite by dividing. So excluding VAT will equal to, we'll take this amount, 5271 will divide by 115%, because before, when we added it, we multiplied by 115%. And then I know there's a second method, but I don't like it, so I'm never going to use it. 71 divided by 1.15. Okay, so 5271. Remember, percentage can be written as a fraction, which means this is 115% is 115 over 100. 115 over 100 is 1,15. And therefore here we are actually dividing by 1,15, and that is 3,9360869.6, and that is excluding VAT, right, for December 2022. Now we're going to go to January 2022, and we're going to increase this amount. We're going to say 3,9360869.6 times. We're going to increase it by 14,51. So we're going to increase it by 114,51. 6. See, in grade 12, I just do it like this. Just add the percentage to 100, multiply by it, and give me the answer, including increase. Unless they just ask what is the increase, then you can't add it to 100. You just have to use it as it is, right? I'm actually doing this way because I want you to get used to it. It helps to know this method, because then when you're removing VAT, the opposite, it's easy. You just do the opposite, okay? Or when you're removing an increase. Remember, discount, you minus from 100, you don't add. Do you remember that? That when you have something discounted, so you say, they say it's a 15% discount, so you say 100% minus 14% discount, and that will be 86%, right? So you multiply by 86%, it'll tell you how much the bread will be after the discount. So if you're putting back the discount, just divide by 86%, and it'll give you exactly what it was. 4,508 06, there's a 46814. Then we round that off by saying it's 4,5 to 2 decimal places. We look at the neighbor, so that's going to be 51 rands. We can also write it, because they wrote it in 3 numbers here, or 4 numbers. We can also write it in 4 numbers as 5080 if you want, right? It's the same thing. Write down one way that Magdalene can save water to reduce her water bill on rainy days. Well, if the rain is falling, you want to catch it. And the only way to catch it is to use something. Tanks, buckets. Well, she could buy tanks. She could get buckets. That. So that's 2.3 to 1.3. So the obvious one is to get tanks, buy tanks, and collect the rainwater. Especially for flushing. She can have it hooked to her toilet so that she can close the main supply and use the tanks for the toilets and just keep flushing with rainwater. That would be very useful. Okay, so 2.2. Mandla Mandla's younger sister studies medicine in Britain. Mandla sent her 34,152 rands and 69 cents to travel back home. How many pounds did he send to his sister if this is the exchange rate? Okay. They want to know in pounds how much this money is, right? So we're going to change it from rands to pounds. Never know how to write the sign. Anyway, there's no other way. Let's just use this exchange rate. Once you got the exchange rate, you can exchange. Okay, so lovely. 0,048373. This is simple because is equal to 1 rand, right? Okay, so this is simple because if you look at this, it will tell us that 1 rand is equal to this. So 2 rand is equal to 2 times this. So you can just multiply, right? But you can just multiply the two numbers. But for those who still struggle, I use cross multiplication and I just write the conversion factor as it has been given to me. And then I say to myself, what am I changing? So I'm changing rands, and rands are written on this side on the conversion factor. So down here, I need to write rands as well. So it's 34,152 rands and 69 cents. So it's rands, right? And then there it's pounds. I don't know how many pounds, but I do know that I need to get the answer as pounds, and therefore I'm going to read it here. And then I cross multiply. I'm going to repeat again. You write the conversion factor as you know it, and then you write what you have on the same side as the one. So if you have rands there on the right, then at the bottom it needs to be rands as well. And if it's pounds there, it needs to be pounds this side as well. Is it pounds? Yes, it's pounds. Okay. So next thing is you take this one, you'll follow the line and you multiply to the other side. So that will be pounds 0,048373 multiplied by 34152.69 is equal to unknown multiplied by opposite there is 1 rand. And then the next step is you say, I want to know the unknown, and it's going with 1 rand, right? And they're multiplying each other. What is the opposite of multiply? Divide. So if I divide by 1 rand this side, and I divide by 1 rand this side, and that is cancel that, and then you just press your calculator. You see how you could tell it multiplies each other. But if you're not sure whether it's to multiply or divide, it's best to just do the whole process. You don't want to lose these 2 marks just because you're lazy, not because you don't know. So if you write the answer of the calculator and then you round it off, you get 1,652 pounds, 0.07 cents, and that should be the amount that is going to get. She is going to get, he's going to send. Yeah, that's it. Okay, 2.3. 2.3 says Daniel, who is 64 years old at the end of February 2023, and an annual taxable income of 675,902 for the year 2022-2023. We know that the financial year starts at the beginning of one, in the middle of 1 year, and ends in the middle of another year, and therefore we use 2 years for 1 year. And then it says his annual taxable income was sorted. We don't need to do anything to his income. It's already sorted and ready to be taxed, and it's all even annual. It's taxable. Everything is done. So just note his year. He's 64 years old. So during the 2022-2023 tax year, Daniel was a member of a medical aid scheme, and in this medical aid scheme, it included him, his wife. So that's another person, and 2 children. So what's the total? It's him, his wife, and 2 children. So that gives us 4 people, right? Okay. Then we have identify which tax bracket Daniel falls in based on his taxable income. So before we continue the questions, let's look at Annexure B. And here is Annexure B. So here, Annexure B says that this is the tax table, and we have the rebates, and we have tax threshold, and we have medical aid scheme. Let's talk about tax threshold for a second. Let's talk about this one here. This is not part of the calculation for calculating tax for someone, right? This is a statement, but you may be asked to prove that this amount really doesn't pay tax, right? By taking it as a taxable income, coming here, picking the tax bracket it falls under, and calculating the tax for the person, minusing the rebates, because look, these people here are under the age of 65. This one are 65 and older. These ones are 75 years and older, right? So you also look at the age group minus the tax rebate. You'll find that for this amount, the tax comes out as 0, right? So if it comes out as 0 or less than 0, then very good. You've proven it. But we come here to this question here that says the medical aid scheme, the medical scheme fees, tax credits, this one. So we're going to use that as a discount, and we're also going to use that as a discount. This one depends on the person having medical aid. If they don't have medical aid, then we do not discount a person for this, right? Okay, let's go to the questions. 2.3.1 is simple. Identify which tax bracket Daniel falls in based on his taxable income. Okay, so his taxable income is 675,000. Let me see where the sixes are. The sixes start here, 75, so it's bigger than that one. It's here, 675,928. So it's tax bracket number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tax bracket number 5. So that will be the answer there. Tax bracket number 5. Okay, so there's this question, guys, here. I do not know how to explain it. So as soon as I know how to explain it, then I will try and do it on its own video. I have no idea how to explain this question. There's a question that says, prove that this person doesn't pay tax that ends this much under this group, right? But this question says, show how secondary tax threshold is calculated. I really don't know how to explain it. So I need to figure out how to explain it and calculate at the same time. Because you see, there's explaining and then there's calculating. And then there's explaining and doing the calculations. Okay, so calculate without the tax rebates the yearly tax payable by Daniel. So they want to know how much will Daniel pay. Don't include the part where you subtract the tax rebate. Tax is equal to the tax bracket there says 170,734 plus 39% of. I have a tendency of being lazy here and not writing taxable income above. I'm fighting the edge to shorten everything. 641,400. And then our tax. Now we're going to substitute our taxable income on this part here. So we're going to say 170,734 plus 39% of means multiply. And then we're just going to do a bracket so that we can substitute and subtract. So 675,928 minus 641,400. Now I make a lot of errors, so let me double check. Oh, I've copied correctly this time. Okay, what else? Okay, now let's do the calculations. But what we are going, they said we must skip the rebates, right? So, but what we are going to do is we're going to include tax credits. They didn't say anything about medical tax credits being skipped. So that's what we're actually going to do. The medical tax credits are here, and they say main member, that's him. So we're just going to calculate the medical tax credits quickly. Or you can say, okay, this is another way. I've never done this before, so I'm going to do it this way. Him, so that's minus 3,347 rand times 12. Remember, that's a monthly amount. Minus his wife. Remember, we said there's 4 people. Him, his wife, and 2 children. We said it's him, his wife, and 2 children. So now we're going to minus his wife, which is 3. It says the additional one dependent is 347 times 12. And then we're going to minus the first child, which is 234. Each additional 234 times 12, and then we're going to minus the second child, which is 234 times 12, and then we're going to find out how much everything is after minusing. So 184,199.92 minus 347 times 12, that is 4164, minus, this is also 4164, minus 234 times 12, and that is 2808, minus 2808. I'm just going to check it again. 234 times 12, it's 2808. Okay, now we're going to write the answer. So we're going to take this amount, 184,199.92 minus 4164 minus 4164 minus 2808 minus 2808, which is 170,255 rands and 92 cents. Again, this is a revision lesson, not a memorandum. I am not presenting a memorandum to you guys. It's all about figuring out how to answer the questions.